Not even a minute, and I
Talking too much.
like, nah, bruh. See, you giving our ideas. We don't want your ideas, man. We gonna do it how we feel like doing it over here. But no, what I'm gonna say is this. What I'm hoping is the fact that I'm hoping they're not going to let GTA Online somehow be brought in with GTA 6 like they did with GTA 5. Because me personally, it would have been better that way, honestly.
I don't see them doing like them keeping your things for like GTA 6. Why would they?
I mean, it's something like Ratchet and Clank when you had, like, you know, save files, you were able to get special weapons, transfer them over to like going commando, and you know, say like if you had the third installment of the game, then you get weapons from the first game and the second game and the third game. So it's kind of like a how am I supposed to say this? Not a starter pack, but more like a, not camaraderie. I can't think of it. Something like a loyalty bonus. Because you could get those weapons in the game, but instead of you having to pay for them, you get them for free because you have these weapons in the previous installment. So I mean, like, I see them doing that in the better position, and most players in the not so good position.
Man, they don't give a damn about shit like that.
Hey, all is fair.
You can't, any idea that you gonna have, you can't take greed out of the equation, okay? The enjoyment factor of these games is one of those things that's always gonna be put on the back burner to some degree, okay, for the sake of making their money. So always keep that in mind. Things that could sound fun or whatever the fuck, it's gonna be done in some level of means of greed. Alright, so it's gonna diminish in quality regardless. Which meaning, basically, dog, if that was like, it's one of those things where, like, that's not necessarily pay to win, obviously, because you don't have to pay for that shit. But, I mean, shit, niggas didn't play the whole game. Oh, well, I guess you don't have that item or whatever. But usually, I don't know, really look at weapons to be that damn crazily overpowered and separate from each other. Like, everyone gets a sniper rifle. If you can hit a shot, you can hit a shot. You can kill somebody in one shot with that. If you can hit them with it in GTA games, typically. So, it's not like you can't be strong with it. Typically, if someone just understands how to do like the whole armor plating when it comes to PvP and these fucking things, and that's really when it really truly matters. Other than that, most weapons operate the same in GTA, so it doesn't really matter all that much. It's when you get to like the vehicle shit, is when things kind of start to get on this like vehicles and like weapons where we can hit you from, like, you know, crazy ass distances where it's like, I don't even gotta be in the vicinity and I can kill your ass type shit. You know what I mean? Things like that. That's when we really, now we got like, we actually have like something to talk about there. You know, so when it comes to that shit, though. If we just talking about something like a fucking, like, a Red Dead Redemption, like, revolver or something like that, that's not gonna make that big of a fucking difference.
Yeah, like, you just get bonuses, that's all. Just bonuses. Like, would they allow that, you know, to be in the game? That's all I was trying to get at.
I don't know. I doubt they do the. They're not gonna fucking let you keep it. They're not letting us keep our characters. These characters are solidified in this game and this game only. Only reason why they did it for the PS4, PS5 is the same thing, just on a different, definition of the consoles. There's really no reason to, for them to let us do anything else with that. Yeah, these are one and done characters. Besides, but if they were to let us keep our same characters, then there'd be no point in us because you obviously know they're gonna have a different creative like engine for the different their creator. When you making your own fucking character and shit, it's gonna be a different creator and shit. I'm willing to bet. So for different features and things like that. You may be able to make a similar looking character, but I doubt they'll be exactly the same.
Or if they had face, like, you know, like the thing in 2K, like they had that face thing. What if he was able to actually have that in the game as well?
You're talking about when you basically can scan your face in, like your actual face in with the proper lighting and shit.
Yeah.
I guess. Do I see GTA doing that? Maybe. I'm surprised more games actually don't have a feature with that in it as a customization game. But I don't know if that's I don't know if that's an engine limitation. I don't know if it's just a design limitation. I don't know. Personally, I really don't know. It's more so on them. It might just be a development choice. They just they can just use what we built, but fuck their face. And not like that. as I get a junk email as I say that. But
Oh, jeez. Okay, the next big thing I want to talk about is housing. Don't get me wrong, the houses were nice, you know.
I'm sorry to cut you off, bro. As soon as you said housing, it said go to foreclosures.maze bank. I come to purchase a variety of properties.
Wow.
You hacking my game, nigga? Like the fuck?
Nah, that's something I want to touch on because that's one of the main focuses of the competition in Saints Row. But yeah, housing. Not like there's anything wrong with the houses that we were able to, you know, buy and get into, but I feel like from the houses that you may have accidentally came across playing Grand Theft Auto, you know, there's certain houses that, you know, I would wish were like up for purchase. Instead of me having to have like a 10-car garage, which was nice, and you know, you had 3 different apartments that were, you know, customizable, which was also nice. But, you know, to have a piece of land that was very unique, like say like things that were like captivating, like having a nice large pool or having a nice long driveway, you know, something, you know, just something that's going to help the property stand out and what made you purchase it, instead of you having, you know, just a regular basic 2-car garage, 6-car, 10-car, or maybe a luxury apartment, or buying, you know, an apartment in the casino or something. That's something that I actually look at, you know. Like, what if you were able to buy like Michael's house or maybe even Franklin's house? Because GTA Online started before the story of Grand Theft Auto 5 takes place, and it continued on after that summer of 2013. So at a certain point, you know, would Michael even still be living in that house, or did they go somewhere else? Was the property even up for, you know, grabs at a certain point? Because I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one that actually wanted to buy that property. There's probably, what, 60% of people probably wouldn't mind having that property, because it was a nice bit of land. It really was. And if you go on a website, there were some houses that were very unique that you probably wouldn't mind paying, you know, what would be a reasonable price? Because I'm not gonna lie, I look at the cars, some of those cars were like mad overpriced by such a stupid margin, but with businesses taking place, yeah, you really couldn't do much. I would have to say, were you about to say something? No. If I had to say, honestly, depending on the location, fucking guys in their sports bikes. Depending on the location, like say if you were in up in the hills, I'd say a reasonable price would probably be like 1.5 million. because it's not really a cheap house. You know, it's a nice big mansion, and you know, there's a lot that comes with it. You know, hopefully you're able to do other things like maybe do yoga or, you know, just regular things. But they probably might not go that far, but they did in certain properties, but those were all business related.
So what I'm gathering from that is basically the purpose in this one of those things where it's like, I guess that'd make buying a more expensive option more viable if they came with basically extra mini games with them. Again, pool, doing something in a pool. Like you have pool table shit, and then you have like swimming pool. Just to clarify, and maybe some other amenities like again having like the game, game things. I don't know if they want to make even more games in them, or even have the darts in them. And so you probably have to pay for the extra amenities too. That would basically make that property value, unfortunately, have to go up some, and probably also the mortgage things that you got to pay on it periodically as you play the game as well. As you get more of those things, those are the things that would probably make that shit worth it. Otherwise, I feel like it probably would be a waste of resources because in most cases you'd be out and about doing other things anyways. You'd be out there doing the jobs. Probably, as they make businesses and stuff too, they do it in the same GTA 5 formula. I mean, you'll probably end up at one of your other assets and basically just staying near because they're just for like convenience sake. Like I'm already at my business. I don't have to drive over that way. I don't have to spawn a helicopter and take it over there. I can just spawn there and then do what I need to do. To be grinding or whatever the case may be. So like I think that would kind of take away from it. It's cool having the houses. It takes the houses just kind of get undervalued as a result of being able to live at your assets and be able to constantly respawn them. You know what I mean? It takes away from that. Like unless I can do those things from my Rockford Hills like mansion or somewhere else, like I'm in this comfortable setting and stuff, it's limited from a gameplay standpoint, and like it just not being tedious from just a casual thing where I'm just like, you know what, I feel like spawning at my mansion and like kind of just like living out my dream of being a millionaire, living in this big home, and being able to, see the interiors and actually, like, I don't know, decorate the shit or some shit, and then play pool in my area, maybe invite my friends over, and that type of shit, and we want to kind of, like, do some kind of role-playing type of thing, then I guess, sure. But that's probably the extensiveness of it, and we all know that they did the whole heist thing. Depending what house you get a boardroom where you can look at all these different things. But other than that, it's severely limited, other than just simply storing your cars in another area. You can really just like sum it to it being just a higher end garage with like, it's a higher end garage even though it's a lower end garage because you probably only can hold a certain amount of cars in it, whereas you can get a garage that can hold 10 or so, and then get a house that is like probably big but only holds like 4 cars in it. So I don't know, it's limited.
So you mean like more realistically, instead of it being like a 10 car, instead of it, you just want to say like, what if it just holds 2 cars? Should it just be able to hold 2 cars? Or like, what if you have multiple garages? So instead of it just going into a point where you're going into a Corona and you just appear in a garage, so you're telling me that it'd probably be more, like, I don't know, more, let's say like, okay, let's talk about this. More realistically saying, instead of it going to a Corona to where you come up to your garage and like, you have a high-end apartment, 10-car garage, but granted, there's no way that one person's gonna have 10 cars at one property unless they actually have multiple garages, depending on the piece of land that you get. And with the way how the map is in Vice City, which is a pretty, like I said, it's a pretty big map from what I've seen. Instead of it just having a Corona until you go into 10, like you have a 10-car garage, would you say it'd be better to have 2 or 4?
For a house? I mean, I'd probably say 2 or 4 for like a regular house. Depending where the house is. it probably make more sense if you can have a larger garage, maybe a 6 or 8. Because you also have to keep in mind that they did make smaller garages, like, excuse me, other garages that you can have around the city, and like, well, there probably should be a reason for those to exist, right? And the main purpose of those is mainly just to hold your cars in different areas of the map. That's the only purpose that they serve in GTA 5. You can't do anything else there. So the extra reason why the regular houses would cost more is because you can do more in those areas where it's still holding your cars at. So unless they're gonna let you do more at those garages, they really serve a purpose. So in order to increase the value of them, if you're not gonna give the player more to do in those garages, just simply decrease the number of cars you can have at the houses, and then increase the number you can have at those individual garages. And then there's a reason for that. And even then, the more cars you have, the less value some of those cars have to you, because you're only going to drive only as to like few of them anyways.
True.
They're going to diminish in value to you as time goes on, and with them adding more cars anyway. So at this point now, you're just getting rid of cars, shipping out old cars, putting in new ones, and then as you buy more properties in different areas, your old properties are going to get sold as well. So it's just, there's a term for that, like a property term for that. I just don't know it. But that's pretty much how the whole cycle of GTA would work as far as that shit is concerned, at least in my mind.
Because when I look at that, I kind of did get tired of having to spawn in to a apartment and there's somebody that's already in the exact same apartment. I kind of want to get to a point to where, I just want to be the only one staying there, because the last thing you want to do is come outside and get gunned down on your own property. You gotta admit, that is kind of fucking annoying. Because I'm pretty sure everybody gets to that point. Everybody has that. It happens to everybody at least twice. Granted, maybe even 5 times. It shit happens. It does. Like me personally, I would kind of want to get to a point to where I'm trying to make it seem like it's important to have the cursor or that corona there to enter your apartment. But then again, if you have your own spot, like, what are the chances of people spawning into GTA Online and everybody got the same property? It's kind of slim, especially if you have different locations on the map. There's a bunch of places where you could, stay at. So would it even be worth having a corona to go into your apartment or even to go into your garage? Would it even serve a purpose?
I'm not so sure. I don't know if you can avoid that, especially with the popularity of some YouTubers playing online and everything else too. Some people kind of live at certain houses for their own reasons. Some people really live at certain houses because YouTubers and other content creators chose those houses themselves. So, like, you may think that you picking a house that's like, oh, ain't nobody has got this, and you might just happen to pop in a lobby where someone has that, but it's not because they like living out there. They're probably barely there. It's just one of those things where it's like, well, I know that I like to string snipe. I'm speaking in terms, and like, if I was one of them, I like to string snipe, and I know that this particular YouTuber or Twitch streamer has a property all the way out here. So when they get on the game, all I got to do is they happen to do a mission in this area. All I got to do is basically just die, or make sure I switch my spawn location here, and then possibly get a friend in their lobby. It's some of the most dumbest shit ever. It's like the no life type shit. It's so fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Because mind you, I'm only theorizing this. I don't even know how convoluted it gets. Okay, like truly, I really don't. But people really just will use these areas as mainly just POIs, which is point of interest. So that way they can just kind of get around the map a lot faster than what a simple vehicle or a helicopter can get them to. It's not really so much about the actual property and them wanting to be there anyways. Now, whether or not the Corona or Kuruma, I'm assuming you mean the armored Kuruma, the bulletproof vehicle or something like that?
No, the circle that that allows you to go into your apartment. I think it's called the Corona. Or some kind of cursor.
As far as that is concerned, kind of the same thing. You can't avoid a lot of people being in living in the same apartment building. It's like the Eclipse Tower that I have. Like I chose that area mainly. I only got the idea to choose that area, which was my first high-end apartment apparently, because of JD. Because I saw it in one of their videos. I was like, that does a very decent place to. But what I didn't know, I didn't know that it had different apartments when you try to buy the place. I was like, oh shit. I mean, granted, some of them might look different. I don't know if they do in that particular building, but I was just like, that looks like a decent place to be at. And surely enough, it's one of the more common areas that people fucking live at. Probably because a lot of other people, like, thought the same, or was just thinking like, hey, it's a decent place to live at. You know what I mean? And it's just like, so now every time I leave that bitch, I might have somebody flying around. I might have somebody just sitting in their car and looking like they're planning, waiting for me to come out. And bro, I just got in this lobby, and I'm already dying. You know what I mean? Like if I get caught slipping or some shit. So it's just unavoidable for the most part. Now I would say, as far as GTA 5 is concerned, you could easily take one of these buildings that are out here in the desert and shit, and I guarantee you, probably 90% of the time, you're not going to come across somebody who's living out here. Okay, hell, even that city that's all the way north in Paleto Bay, I got a house out there. You can literally spawn out there, and there's barely anybody up there. If you want peace and quiet, you go away from the fucking city, more than likely. That's just the way it is.
Realistically, looking at it, yeah.
But like GTA 6,
like I said,
I don't know.
It's a pretty big map from what I've seen. It's pretty big. So I mean, I'm just saying, hopefully that they give us. I'm just hoping that they give us more options when it comes to housing, instead of them having, certain locations on the map that, really isn't a whole lot, but they work with what they got, which is it's cool. But like I said, there's certain houses that really stood out to me that I wish was, available. Because, it's something nice, Gives me something to actually want to look forward to actually coming back to play.
And I don't mean to cut you off, but I do think that some of the reason why it is that they don't allow you to is because they're just there to make the house that they're actually trying to give you look better, just by proxy. But like, I'm like parked right in front of the Franklin building, but there's like the houses that are also nearby it as well that also look good, so that also makes you want those other houses as well. It's just something that basically makes the house, hey, you could live here with these other quote-unquote NPCs that exist or whatever. You know what I mean? You can, because they give you, even when you go into the little foreclosure signs about the actual property, they give you a whole description that doesn't really fucking matter. None of that shit that they're talking about matters. All you care about is how much does it cost, how many cars can I fit into the garage. Everything else is extra because there's no game mode mechanic for it. Like, I can't do nothing with that. All the game mode mechanics are going to be on the interior. The extra shit is like, yeah, I probably picked a certain house because there's a pool in the in literally my quote unquote neighbor's building. There's a pool next to it, so I as the player technically have a pool now that I can easily access, even though it's not my own. So that'd be the only thing that really matters.
Right. Very nice indeed. Okay, the next topic I want to talk about is the heist, because you mentioned that earlier. Now, granted, there's a huge problem with the way how they did heists in GTA 5 when it came to being online. It was a huge problem. Not saying that it was bad, but it's bad when you have a lot of people who just don't seem to want to take it serious. You fall into a point of where there's a lot of human error. Would it be possible for them to have this go like it did in the story mode, where you're actually able to have, AIs that, play certain roles, and if granted, they actually had, characters in previous, Grand Theft Auto installments in the story mode play, in online. Which to me, personally, that would have been a lot better, because What if you ain't got nobody to play with, or nobody's trying to even play that right now because they're doing something else at the moment? This gives the player a chance to go ahead and actually deal with this particular task by themselves if they don't really want to deal with anybody, because, you know, granted, you're going to run into a lot of randoms that are just so fucking annoying. Instead of going back and forth to people and everything else and just having a task that's just not going to be completed and you ain't got no friends around to help you with it, would it be a point to where they actually allowed AI to come into the mix and, you know, make the gameplay a lot easier, or like it did in the single player in GTA 5? And what if they actually, you know, instead of it going like it did when a player went down, the mission completely stops? It could possibly run. I'm trying to think. In Doomsday, if a player went down, was the mission over or did it continue? Or was that with the Perico heist?
The Perico heist. I'm trying to remember what the Perico heist even was. I think the Doomsday heist. I think we only did it. We always ever did it with lives. So I don't think we ever went to a point where people died all the way, and they died when we didn't have any lives left. So I don't really know. I would assume not, because usually that only ever really happens whenever, say like if someone they invite you and you see like borders, like the message is green. Those missions, I'm pretty sure, and certain if same thing with the Lamar missions too. Actually, I think they probably all work in that way, and it's because of it's a story element. That's the reason why that shit happens. So I'm gonna to answer your question. I think so for both of them.
Because I would like it to just be like it was a single player. Because, like I said, if nobody's playing online or nobody's trying to deal with what you got going on at the moment, let's saying just saying like AI would probably be the best way to handle that. And like I said, maybe just maybe they will give you the element of how it was in story modes, where you have good, you know, teammates and you have bad teammates. So there's also a chance of you not getting a good amount of money if you're going to deal with the actual talented AI players, or, you know, you get more money, but you run the risk of getting a casual fuck up with the lower talented, you know, AI player. So I'm wondering if that's going to be something that they're going to do, because I do expect them to actually run it like they did in GTA 5 online. Instead of them trying to, you know, come up with something convoluted and stupid, or just trying to modernize it for some stupid reason, which, granted, GTA Online for GTA 5 was perfect the way it is. Just wish they didn't do so many advances to where they have like the fucking oppressor. Don't need to go that far into it, but just keep it to where this is where we need to be, right here. Everything else is going to come in later years. So would you think that would be a possibility?
Well, I'll think about it as you were speaking a moment. I'd say no, because of the way that they structure those missions. Obviously, yes, you have the story mode. If they were to let people play those missions by themselves, they would have to rework, because you have to remember this voice acting that they often put into it. There's the actual animations that they actually put into it as well for things to function the way that they do, and simply just missing the other three characters, or simply relying on AI to be competent while at the same time not being overpowered to do their roles while you're not supervising them, would be probably a very difficult task from a development standpoint, I would imagine, because I haven't seen that great of AI when just in video games period. So I wouldn't expect something like that. Now granted, yes, could they? Sure. I mean, you know, it'd be welcomed, but I'm not expecting it. I really wouldn't. It's a toughie. And like truly, that's tough. But for people who don't want to deal with randoms, heist might not be in one of the things that you can do. Like, you might not have a choice, especially if you don't have people to play the game with. Like, you got no choice but to probably do it random just because of that. Or hell, if they can revamp the cutscenes and do some more voice work, if they feel so inclined to, you probably will just have to do with the same mission, just with some awkward bits in it, because you can tell that it was originally made for 4 people, type of thing. But you'll more likely end up probably doing a mission by yourself, like as a lone human, going up against things, and they'll just probably, even if you play on hard, probably just dial down the amount of enemies that you have to go up against. It's probably the best, like a survival, like what they do in survival mode in GTA 5 actually. If you have 4 people, then you're facing like 150 enemies or something like that. That's just a random arbitrary number, but it's a very large number. Versus if you're playing solo, you'll more likely fight against like maybe 50. So just to kind of put it in perspective a bit, but it'd be something like that if I had to guess.
Granted, more so.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah,
I listen. I would love if I could play the heist modes on solo. But like you got to think about the different roles that you have to do in those heists in GTA 5. It would be damn near impossible. Like those things would, like I would have to pick something and then would just like you'd have to just literally X out. I can't be the prisoner and then still do the thing where I get the prison breaking mission. I can't be the prisoner while at the same time getting like, I guess I could. You could be the prisoner, get him out, somehow or another fight off all those fucking cops and helicopters, maybe get into the plane, might be able to take off without them blowing it up or just simply blocking the plane. Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why it is that you have your teammates in those situations. Kind of reimagining it and like for suspicion of disbelief, it'd be kind of difficult to do that. It'd be a very tough task. Like you'd have to really finagle some shit or really plan some stuff out for them to do it. It's just, I don't know. It feels like a lot more work on the player versus an actual like development thing.
That's a good insight of looking at it. All right, now what else we're gonna go over? Businesses. We had talked about this, I think about what, a year or two ago? Businesses. Now, the way how they started it out was with the, I think it was the Motorcycle Club came in, then it was the, oh my goodness, Criminal Mastermind, or was it the, there was something with the crate missions and everything else followed suit later on. Now, with you owning a business, if they even bother to bring it in, which I'm pretty sure they will, instead of it having to come to a point to where let's just say that there's no more, no, I can't really say that because there is opportunity. Let's just say that instead of it being a human error coming to the mix, what if they actually allowed us to have AI employees? Same way how you would play with other people, but let's just have AI come into the mix as well. So you guys go out, like you said, it's like having, you know, other players with you, but let's just say that you guys go out with AI and everything. You guys go pick up crates, or you guys go out and do what you gotta do to come back, or you can send guys out to go get the shit and bring it back. Would that, well, when I say that out loud, that's kind of like doing it with the heist, except this is more of, no, because that would be in a mission. This is more of an open, this is an open lobby. So yeah, that'd be different. So yeah, would that even be a function, even though they kind of did it with the CEO crate work, but not necessarily, because there's only one person getting, you know, a crate. Well, if they actually have guys come with you, so that way, you know, it'll be a lot more enjoyable.
So, are you asking, basically, essentially, when you start up one of those missions, having, basically just doing them, but with like AI players, essentially?
Mm-hmm.
Is what you mean?
Yeah.
That card just fucking disappeared. Regardless. And I think we might have touched base on that before.
In the previous videos.
And I'm trying to remember what it is that I said, but I think I mean, like it would be cool for sure if you were able to just get, you know, some AI players that can help you run your business and do some of those missions for sure. I don't understand why it is that you own a company or assets like that and you don't have your own militia or army or whatever. You know what I mean? Like simply dependent on people all the time is kind of like.
Because that
Sorry to
allows a
tell you,
lot of
but
human
like,
error to come in the mix too.
yeah, and so part of that human error is not always being available. Like I'm trying to play the game, trying to, you know, grind for some money, and someone else is like, well, I mean, I literally got a date with my bitch. Like, what the fuck you want me to do? Type shit. And like, you know, and that's fine. But having not so like having the ability to obviously yes, you can do the missions by yourself, but they, you know, they can be very tedious depending what mission you get and what mission you're doing. Having AI would kind of shorten us out a bit to where I think I actually mentioned having like higher end AI where they're like, and it's kind of like an RPG thing where you can level them up and have relatively closer to you, like
Mm-hmm.
closest to a player's ability as possible, but without obviously not being a player in terms of their actual like intelligence and like function of being able to complete the mission. It's just you also like in order for it to not be like a constant stream of like, hey, I got an AI player, I'm gonna just let him do the mission, and it just kind of takes the player completely out of the equation. Then I would say you gotta have AI that are not as good. That way you have to kind of play the game yourself too. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like if you always are just letting the AI do everything, which is yes, that's what bosses do, of course. Don't get me wrong, they have employees to handle jobs that they don't want to do. I get that. But from a gameplay perspective, like I kind of want to play the game myself. So it's like, I mean, I wouldn't mind if I could bring AI with me or I send AI on individual tasks that I myself don't have to monitor. I can go and do something else and have some other guys with me. Obviously, again, that's where the RPG mechanic comes. With the more experience that they have, they understand how you run your shit, what you want them to do. So you can just tell them to go and do something, and you might come across some issues depending on their levels and what you've upgraded on them. And I think I even said in the past that you'd be able to personalize them. So you could basically choose their name, relation to you or whatever. Hell, if you want them to be like your brother or your cousin or some shit or whatever the fuck, you can. Something along those lines, so that way it becomes like it's not just I'm out here. Perfect example of the gun running shipments because it just popped up on the top left of my fucking screen. It's not me just running like doing this mission here for just cash and RP. I'm also doing this to level up my player. Like I'm like my team, my militia. And hell, that can even be useful if say someone is like, hey, if I'm going to destroy the government shipment, I'm gonna call up some of my dudes. I'm gonna call up some of my best soldiers, and we go and greet this dude. I'm not necessarily for it, but it's an idea that can be thrown out there. That way, I
Right.
don't have to depend on another player. I can tell somebody else that, hey, yo, go pull up one of my attack choppers, and then now I have an AI in an attack chopper while I'm on the ground, or I'm in the attack chopper, and then I got soldiers on the ground driving behind the guy. You know what I mean? And then we're attacking them from like two different areas, type shit. Again, not really for it myself, but I'm saying it's an idea that can be thrown out there. But it adds a different flavor to it. I feel like, but yeah. It also comes with its downsides. You need both ends of it. You need a lower side where there's some risk, but you also still need like the
More like
ability to have
guarantees.
competent AI.
Yeah. I'm sitting here thinking about that. With the way how they run businesses, with the MC having its own separate, set of enemies compared to Secure Serve, instead of it just being two separate, would it have been possible just to have them all under one instead of having it just, two separate ones? I mean, they're both companies, they're both making money, and eventually they do kind of interject with each other. So it would have been more beneficial if they would have had it as one, because you would hate to have to just go be in Secure Serve to get crates and everything else. Then when it came to your MC business, you had to leave Secure Serve to go into the motorcycle club and and do those 5 things, or maybe even go and do gun running, because gun running is one of those, you could do it with the secure server, you could do it as an MC. It's either or. So I don't understand why they didn't just let that happen with the regular motorcycle club, because that kind of didn't make any sense. I mean, a business is business, regardless of how you look at it. Even though it was more beneficial for you to be in secure server, because you were able to spawn in vehicles, and the MC clubs, you probably may be able to do this. Depending on what position you're in, you were able to do this, maybe that. But, it was kind of just not really worth it. I mean, you did it because there was money with those businesses. And even now, with the way how they have everything set up, you're able to use the clubhouse to, I believe you are able to customize bikes and send them to customers, like they did in the auto shop DLC when you had to do those small bits of heist or jobs, what they call it, for Santia and that DJ dude, which those two were so fucking annoying. I mean, goodness gracious.
I don't know all the inner workings of it, because I myself didn't do any of the, I didn't listen to boss for any of those. Obviously, I just accompanied you with all of those. But, I mean, if something gives you more money, in most cases, people aren't being a boss in this game for the sake of just being a boss. You know what I mean? They're doing it in order to basically earn the most money. So if one type of asset is going to provide more money, then then most people are going to run that over the other stuff. Like, they'll run the other things in order to get those other, like, accessories. But that's really about it. Like, if they're not offering anything else that's going to benefit the player from a gameplay standpoint, or maybe those who like cosmetics, from a cosmetic standpoint, they're just going to go with what's the most productive. So that way, or what makes this money grind less tedious. And game loop, probably like, basically just everything just for like less tedium, just because it's the most optimized and efficient way of earning money. It's like GTA's own meta to some degree. It's just like in a weird way, because it's not like a Call of Duty thing where it's like a gun meta, or like a 2K thing where it's like a build meta. You know what I mean? It's a property meta. It's very weird. Very weird.
Very true. Very, very true. And now, before I end up having to close this out, my question to you is this. How do you think the starting of GTA Online is going to start? Because in the beginning, I guess they had some kind of, the character creation, there was some kind of setup. I don't think there was a story behind it or any tutorial on, how to do this and do that. You're pretty much just thrown in, and they just said, well, here you go, have fun. That was in the PS3 version. In the PS4 version, they had a tutorial with the cutscene. Lamar came into the mix and, pretty much somewhat guided you through, introduced you to Gerald. Simeon came into the mix, then Lester came in, then you meet Trevor and Ron. Then after that, you pretty much are just where the PS3 was at the time. And the PS5 variation of it, I guess something happened to you, you got locked up, you're leaving the Los Santos precinct. And they have you do this, get weapons or whatever you had picked in the little section of you creating your character, and you had to get a business and everything else, and you had to go get this, attack some ballers and whatnot. And then here you are where PS3 is pretty much obsolete, or the Xbox 360 is obsolete, and this is where you're at now. So would you think that they will allow you to have like some kind of story, or will they just throw you into the fray like they did the PS3?
I think for simplicity purposes, I think they just throw you in the beginning. And if they decide to develop a story, they'll probably do it later on. I'm sure it's gonna be some kind of implementation of one of the story characters, like what they did with Lamar again, but except whatever character is relevant in GTA 6 that they feel like they can do the same thing with. I wouldn't even be surprised because of modern gaming and how everything is greed focused that they might even just do less. And again, just throw you in there. You just probably get off the plane and just land somewhere, and then you just spawn in, and then you got all these pop-ups on your screen, and they may tell you to go here or go there or whatever. But it probably will give you a cutscene or something along those lines. I don't see it being a big extravagant thing, because the stories didn't come until like way later anyways. They have to kind of find their own direction of what they want to do with that, and it's just not gonna happen right away. Like a few months in, maybe. Probably a year in, maybe. It just depends on what they want to do with the actual main the main storyline. Because you also gotta keep in mind that shit, they might even just focus more so on the storyline at first and just add more DLC for that. Granted, probably not, because of the whole greed thing I mentioned earlier. So, because they can benefit and profit more off of online transactions, like via GTA Online, versus profiting off of offline. At least in my opinion, anyways. Because you have a lot more people who are more than willing going to want to play in a PvP setting or in an open world setting with their own created characters, versus using set characters where there's no other players involved. It's just, and everything is just their sandbox to do whatever it is that they want in it with no outside influences. The ability to co-op this and play with your friends is one of the biggest attractions about sandboxes nowadays anyways. So I would imagine that if they do a story for it, it's not going to be that extravagant. It's not going to be that like extra for the kind of experience like right out the gates. It's going to be like the heist, the Lamar missions, the random DLC updates with random characters and they might even throw in some past characters. Who knows? If Franklin, Trevor, and Michael aren't in GTA 6 story, they might pop up in one of those missions, later on down the road for whatever random reason. Same thing with like Lester or somebody else, and it could just be fan service for people who like those characters, where they pop up for those set missions. That's what I kind of felt about like Lamar was in the beginning, before his actual like Lamar missions and stuff, and how often he was popping up. I felt like he was just there for just fan service. Because again, you get the Geralds of the world, you get the Martin Madrazos. Yes, he was a story character, but a side character and tagging in the sky is not really all that important. Like no one's getting on GTA to talk to Martin Madrazo. Okay, I want the mission so I can earn my goddamn money. I'm not here for you. I'm here for your mission. Right. So I guess by proxy, I'm here for you. I guess this is the most I'll give you. But you really just have to kind of see how the story of GTA 6 unfolds first, and how well the gameplay works in order to fully get what are they going to do a story for, and plus how long does it take for them to even start the GTA Online thing? What if the game doesn't, if it comes out just a story mode for a while and then GTA Online comes out way later? If GTA Online comes out way later, then we might get a story specific thing with heist maybe right out the gate, or things of that nature. We might get more of a story focused GTA Online. That's if, but they don't want to do the 2K thing, where they make it so story focused that they're taking away from just the open sandbox and other people are just, I don't want to do a mission right now. Or God forbid they do a thing where you have to go and do this online mission before you can do other activities type things.
Yeah.
I hate that. That would suck because it's very restrictive of the players. Like, dog, I want to just go and do this. Now, I understand that from a leveling perspective because of difficulty amplifiers and shit, but as long as they don't go down that road, I think they'll be fine. But I think if they delay the GTA Online for like probably like a couple months afterwards, and they're already in the works with heists and stuff. Depending on how successful the GTA 6 campaign is, I think we could get stories with that, like early on with the heist. My fault with the online version. But I wouldn't hold my breath on it. I think we're just gonna get a bare bones thing, to be honest.
Right. And my last question, this is the very last question. With GTA 6 coming into place, I don't know if they even touched up on having returning characters from like previous installment, like Vice City with Tony Vercetti. Am I saying it right?
Tony Vercetti.
Yeah, the main protagonist.
Tony. Is that you said what game was that?
No, that's the regular Vice City.
Regular Tony. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, like what if we had characters like him come into the mix? Now, I'm not saying they're going to be in the regular story mode of GTA 6, but what if they were to come in, as a Easter egg or something extra for online? Like they had returning characters, like maybe even had maybe they might even have maybe CJ pop into the mix, because personally I would have felt it would have been kind of cool to have CJ, making a cameo in GTA 5 or maybe in online. What if they actually, brought back previous protagonists, like having Claude, Tony, CJ, Lance, what was his brother in Vice City? Vice City Stories? What if what if they made a cameo or they had some kind of role in, online in Vice City? Would that be, would that make the game a lot more playable or a lot more enjoyable, or would it just get to a point where like, okay, paying homage to, older protagonists?
Well, firstly, what I'll say to that is, unfortunately, some of those cameos wouldn't even be possible. Starting with CJ, there was an article about, I think the original voice actor said that CJ will more than likely not be in the game, like period, because of conflicts between him and and Rockstar. So it's unlikely that that'll happen. As far as Vance, and I think it was Lance, and Vice City Stories, he died, if memory serves me right.
Oh wow.
So doubt he'll come back. Maybe for a Halloween update if they're feeling froggy or whatever, but that's not gonna be likely. Other than that, I guess the elements are possible unless I'm missing another name that you had said. Granted, different characters are gonna spark different levels of fan service enjoyment, but that's really what it just comes down to. They're just it'll just be fan service, like, oh cool, I remember that character from that game. It's kind of like what they did with Gay Tony, when they brought him back for the nightclub DLC. Like, it's just one of those like, go to enjoy that character. Well, he's back, so and it's really just nothing more than that. It's just like, it's cool to have another character, but depending how they do it, because they've even had updates with DLCs where they kind of feel soulless to some degree. Like, the best DLC I'd say that they had so far, and this could just me just undervaluing the other ones, was the one with Franklin and Lamar, when they in GTA 5, where they put them together for their set missions, where you basically smoked weed and then you became Franklin and then your partner became Lamar. That was probably the best set of missions that they had. It sometimes can feel like a soulless type of thing though with some of those DLCs, where it just feels like it's 100% for fan service, but it's not really like, it's like, I mean, it's cool that they're here, but like, what point does it serve other than just fan service? You know what I mean? Now, granted, it doesn't need to. In some aspects, no. Just simply having the character there and seeing that they're doing well and everything else is just nice. You know, it's just nice. But in certain situations where they're making you do missions on it, you might start to argue, what is the point? So, I don't know.
Which is true. It's true. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm just saying, like, it would be nice to have them into the mix, or if they were to, join you in your business ventures or whatever ventures you may come into. Like I said, it just something to look forward to.
So like they basically having like, let's just take Franklin for example, having an actual like a named like actual like named and known player character as someone you can have as like one of your AI buddies for when you run your business assets type of thing is what you mean?
Yeah, something like that, or just somebody like just for assistance if one of those characters that if you don't have anybody to play with or you're having a tough time, you don't have nobody with you, they can always come into the mix, or it could be like some kind of hangout session like they did in GTA 5.
For them to do that, I think they would have to give your character a voice. And that's the other thing. Now was Clyde too. I wanted to touch on Clyde very briefly. I was like, I don't know how they would really implement him in, other than him just kind of being there. Like how he was in San Andreas, he was kind of just there for like Catalina. Because obviously that's like a prequel type of thing to the GTA 3 events. But I don't see how much, like, they would have to give your character a voice because they have to give him a reason for being there. You know what I mean? Because otherwise, I don't really know, other than him being like, I guess he was a cop or something like that. I don't really know. The whole story of GTA 3 is very fuzzy to me now, especially the beginning. But I think for a voiceless protagonist, it'd be kind of hard to get them into the game and then have them do something productive. Unless again, you're going into a heist and you're working for this guy and he hired you and some other random thugs that he didn't disclose to you yet until you get there, and then you meet them, and then it's boom, here's the fan service, there's Clyde, you know what I mean, not saying shit, just there, and then he saves you or something.
That'd be kind of awkward, dude.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And so now, like, imagine
I see that now, yeah.
And, like, imagine your character doesn't speak, he don't speak, and then like y'all the ones who got to work together. Like that's just pure like intuition. Like that's on a whole nother level of chemistry.
Yeah,
you know, we talking here. Like y'all get the job done. Shit. I mean, damn. I could tell y'all shit. I don't even know if y'all pissed at me or not. Dang, y'all facial expression doesn't even change. You know what I mean? Y'all not saying nothing. Y'all just, when I tell y'all something, y'all just shrug your shoulders, turn around, and leave the door. I'm like, I don't even know if they understood what the fuck I said. Do they even speak my language? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, like the Lamar missions when he was talking to Gerald, like, I got enough of this whole tough guy silent act from these two guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I see what you're saying now.
It just, I don't know, it would just add some awkwardness, which maybe has its own charm, and that would just probably be part of the fan service to some degree. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, oh, look, silent protagonist. Hey, look, here's this other silent protagonist from back in the day. It's like, look at how they are very cohesive without saying shit to each other. Kind of like how the players are. You know what I mean? Because the player characters don't say shit. One, they don't even look like a unit. They look like a bunch of random people thrown together, and we're just working together. I guess these are your friends type shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, hey, all right, y'all here? Cool. I'm like, huh? Weird. I recognize you because you're the one I talked to on the phone, but who are these other three dudes? These other three people aren't the same three people from the last mission that we just did.
Right.
How many people are in on this heist? Like, should I be concerned about that? No? Okay, fuck it. We'll just go along. We'll go along with it. So, I don't know. That's the only thing you gotta worry about as far as continuity is concerned. And I'm more so referencing how it is that the people that you talk to on the, like, for the heist missions, as you go mission by mission, when you play with randoms, there's no real actual continuity to it because each different. So it's like they don't really even question that. It's just like, all right, well, you're here, so, you know, like, because you're supposed to be here, I guess. So we'll just roll along with that. So,
like having like little, so we're just saying like little quips or quirks or like acknowledgement that that's not the same guy from the previous mission. That's what you're saying. If they actually showed it in cutscenes,
like it would at least add
like some kind of comic relief.
At least you understand that this group is not the same. I myself am the same, but the other three people that are here with me are not. And I think the first couple of times, depending on how they do it, might actually get a chuckle out of some people. Might even get a laugh.
Yeah.
So
that'd be nice. That'll be nice.
So we'll also get a chuckle out of you. You know, the fact that I forgot to change the my direction of where the limo was supposed to take me, so now I'm kind of stranded out here in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Goodness gracious. Before I forget, if they do bring in the heist, I would like for Michael to make a cameo because he has yet to have a part in online. I think he's the only character out of Franklin and Trevor that did not play a particular role in GTA Online. So me personally, if it is possible, I would like for him to introduce Heist into the next installment. Just so that way, you know, not only did Franklin and Trevor play the role, because Trevor played a role, you know, with regular missions. Franklin came in as a DLC. It will be nice to see, you know, Michael come in and, you know, have a particular role of introducing something from the previous installment, because Michael did jobs back in the day, and you know he can pretty much, well, with him being an old man, that's what I pretty much see, because I don't really know how far the story is with the GTA world, so it might be, you know, where they're leaving off at. So, you know, he might be an old man. Lester might come into the mix, maybe, it depends, or you know, there might be some other people that come in that work with them, and you know, that could also be a thing as far as what you call it, fan
service.
Fan service. That could also be a thing.
See, my thing with Michael has always been, I thought that he was trying to get out of the game. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like a Franklin thing, where Franklin, to some degree, I thought he was trying to get out of it too. But then it's like, okay, well, because he also said he missed getting his hands dirty with, you know, getting in there and making the money and everything else. Because when he settled down with Tanisha, like in his little, his DLC that popped up. With Michael, I'm assuming because of his own family ties, he's trying to just settle down, just relax, and understand why the fuck that he still exists on the planet. You know what I mean? Just retire type thing. I would say if they were going to implement him in, well, before I get to that, there is a chance that they may have another character in mind to kind of play that role. So Michael may not be the guy for that. But going to what I was going to segue into, if they were going to do anything with Michael, probably more so have a younger version of Michael, maybe like a flashback type of setting, where they, like, I don't know, you take some drug or whatever, and then you kind of maybe can relive some of those heists that he's so known for, and might even could include Trevor in it, and Brad, you know what I'm saying, and whoever else was along the way. Hell, that could probably be his own string of missions within itself. You know what I mean? That you could play as. And again, it's like, it could be via drug, via whatever. You know what I mean? Hell, it could be a thing of where, like, Michael could be reminiscing. You know what I mean? It could be a reminiscent thing where you just happen to meet Michael, and you're sitting on his couch for whatever reason, you know what I'm saying, or sitting somewhere, and he's talking to you and just kind of thinking about the past or whatever. You know what I mean? And then basically, boom, self-insertion, your character, whether it be a solo thing, probably no more than probably like a co-op thing, so it's probably like 1 or 2 players, pending how like major they want to make the missions, because they never really elaborated on what type of heist. He's just a very well-known criminal, and we don't really know what all did he do. So then now you can put that now into a gameplay aspect. But it also might just be taking too much away from what they could do with GTA 6 and that GTA 6 storyline as well. Like, GTA 5 has fantastic characters, fantastic dialogue and everything, but you also don't want to put too much of the focus on GTA 6 and like GTA 5. My fault. You don't want to put too much GTA 5 into GTA 6. You kind of also want to work off of the characters that you build, because otherwise I think you just waste the resources building up these characters, making the players care about them and everything else. These would be good for fan service, yes, but you also have to build upon what you already have as far as the story mode is concerned. At least I feel like from a design standpoint.
Very true, very true. Because I don't know who the main 2 protagonists are in GTA 6. So like I said, it might be a point to where they might end up having, you know, DLCs with the character in online later on, like they did with GTA 5, but who's to say and what could happen. Cause I was gonna mention Nico Bellic, but like I said, that's still But you know what? He might. It depends. But I personally, I think he'll be more of just a guy that gives you missions. But that pretty much might be it then for him. If he did make cameos, more likely they'd probably just be like what you said, just giving you missions and everything else.
Like it's interesting. I don't know his fate in GTA 4. I don't know if he died or not, and if he didn't die, um, he he was someone I'm pretty sure who just needed money and was looking for some people as far as things in relation to the war. I don't fully know his whole story arc, but I've seen some things here and there. So I'm not sure how deep that shit really could go as far as him and fan service. It'd be something to just kind of notice in passing, but yeah, I'd say that's another nostalgia trip. No more than that. I put him on the same categories like with Michael. Maybe younger days type thing. And self-insertion with your created character. Again, I really do find that would be a very interesting concept that they could explore with. But you know how they would get you to do that, and then actually putting those characters in those situations. That part is out of my hands. I have no idea how the hell you do that. Maybe the drug thing, but it's like again, you have to meet the character first in a setting that makes sense. So I'm not really sure.
Because like I said, me personally, I feel like they shouldn't really be putting. Well, the thing about it is, I just want them to have a point to where GTA Online is totally separate from GTA 6. I mean, granted, it's going to be the same map, but there is, the file is set by itself instead of it being, included with GTA 6. That may give them a lot more room to, actually work with. So there's not many, issues or what could be bugs or anything that might cause the game to run wacky, and it might help with the servers for all I know. Not really sure how that whole thing or that whole aspects work out, but it, it's just something to look forward to. So that way GTA Online is its own separate title instead of it being, like a sister to the main focal of the franchise at the moment, or that particular installment of GTA.
Keeping it separate. If they keep it separate, then that'd be like making two games in one.
I mean, yeah, maybe.
But you can argue they've already done that. When you think about GTA 5 or GTA Online, I mean, yes, they've used it, and they use characters as the foundation points for some of those missions. But if you put all the DLC together for GTA Online, that's enough for another game. If you really put them all, like if you were to put them all in a structured, linear to some degree, sandbox. I don't know if linear and sandbox even really mix well, but fuck it, I'm gonna say it regardless. A linear sandbox type of arc with those missions, and just going through a straight line, thing. Go from one set of missions to the heist, to the Cayo Perico stuff, to the nightclubs. Like I said, maybe add a little bit more to those things, to where they actually serve a purpose for a storyline. Add a little bit more characters for substance, and literally GTA Online is literally another fucking game if you really think about it. It's literally two games in one. So I guess it's not outside the realm of possibility for them to do that. It's just something that you look at the end, as the end result, and like, they made enough content here for this.
Oh yeah.
Standalone thing.
But it just depends on how fast they do it, because if you just have somebody just come in from the jump and everything's just right there, it's kind of like, okay, so what the fuck do I do first then? Because now there's a whole bit of confusion. Yeah, I mean, it gets to a point where it's like, okay, was I not supposed to come here because I'm getting my ass kicked at like an extremely alarming rate, so I should probably back out of this. So yeah, I mean, go ahead.
That would only be the case if they do the difficulty thing, they use like the hardest difficulty. I would imagine they're gonna keep the difficulty thing, the easy, normal, hard, and very hard thing. We're gonna assume they're gonna keep that so those players can do those missions. And I'm assuming too that with each one of those missions, it's a leveling system. You know, you can't forget the actual RPG mechanics that come with that. So I'm assuming you won't be able to do certain missions unless you're a certain level. But if we're talking about a linear thing, then like you'll probably naturally progress. I would assume you'd probably naturally progress if they were to go that way.
Yeah, granted. All right, well, that is all I have. Do you have anything?
No, not really. Why is there people out here? Oh, this actually is a player character? That's not a player character. Dog, I'm out here in the beach, and there's somebody actually out here with a motocross outfit on a dirt bike driving along the beach. I ain't never seen some shit like that before. That gotta be me.
Hey, this is, well, I mean, I'm trying to make it to a point where it's something like 5M, but not 5M. That's the thing.
That's the one what you're talking about.
The 5M is pretty much, it's a GTA server, but it's more, how you say, realistic. It's just not as wild and intense as GTA Online is. I mean, it's still online, but you know, there's mods, there's servers that you're able to do. People can play as cops and everything else. Pretty much you can do everything under the sun. There's no limitations on what you're able to do depending on your server that you're joining or if you own a server. It's just pretty much, you know, giving you a feel of realism without, you know, it's something like a VR or virtual reality without being in virtual reality. So if you want to be like a delivery driver, you could be a delivery driver, a police officer, you could be a police officer, a car salesman. You know, it's just pretty much just something that is, you know, just there just to give you a sense of freedom.
Interesting.
Like, have you seen 5M?
No. I mean, that's kind of why I asked you to learn me up on it.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I mean, it's a server, pretty much. You're probably gonna have to get on a computer. I don't know if you have to do a whole lot of things. I wanted to get into that, but I was too busy doing other shit at the time to where I was not able to partake in such of an activity, which, looking at it, it's very enjoyable. I wish I had the luxury of doing that, but I don't have a computer to do that. But I will say that it's a lot more enhanced and it looks like it's very enjoyable. Because, I mean, me personally, I would have been doing it, honestly.
And GTA server for roleplay, I'm assuming. Maybe I have seen some stuff on that. I just didn't know it was called 5. Because I've obviously seen some GTA roleplay content or whatever. That's cool, generally speaking. I don't think people get on the, well, I was gonna say, I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say, and then literally, like, people put similar fucking games truly doesn't make sense. Like, imagine going to a fantasy world to literally do, like, the dishes or some shit. Doesn't really make sense for people to play.
Yeah, you did at home.
You know what I mean? It's like, oh, you got dishes that you could be cleaning up actually, but you just like, nah, I'd rather play the game where I clean dishes.
Yeah.
It's more funner this way.
Wow.
It doesn't make any sense. And that really poses some questions about truly human beings, like tendencies to just try to escape reality while also doing reality shit. It really doesn't make any sense. Like, I can understand driving around in fancy cars, you know what I'm saying, living a lavish lifestyle in a video game because you yourself cannot live this right at that moment in time. I get something like that. Dog, I'm not playing a game, me personally, not playing a game while I'm farming, and it's like that's something I could technically do in real life. You know what I mean? I
True.
myself am not a farm boy, but I'm just saying it's something you could literally do in real life. Or again, power wash simulator where you're cleaning shit. Now, granted, with that you're using like tools and shit like that, like you know what I mean, and other kind of like I get it because you yourself more likely can't do those things with those type of tools. Okay. But if we just simply talking about again a dishwasher simulator, a walking simulator, hell, an exercising simulator, I'm sure if it's out there, I'm sure it's out there. Probably the weed, really, in reality. It's like you could just do that in real life, and I promise you, you'll get more out of that. You'll get more bang for your buck if you just wait and did that. And people will pay for it too. People will pay for it. I mean, that's
Oh yeah.
you can literally monetize anything. People will pay for that shit.
Every time. Well, that's all I got.
So did you just like have these questions just like written down?
No, these are just things I constantly think about, honestly. Like I said, just playing Grand Theft Auto and just, seeing it as an entity or entirely, the things that they could have did with this game. Like I said, it's not a bad game. I mean, me personally, it's my top 10. No. Because I got to admit, at a certain point, I was playing this game on the daily after work. So I got to say, this is like my top 5 games. And it probably be ranked number 1 because it's all I really ever played at the time. Truthfully. And like I said, I did buy this game like 4 times over, which, that is a bit much.
I bet is an understatement.
I bought this game twice on PS4, once on PS5, and once on the Xbox. So, I mean, yeah, I bought this game 4 times over. Don't know why. It's that good of a game. It's just that good. So, yeah.
I guess I understand, but you know me, but I don't understand more than half of your purchases when it comes to these games, period. Yeah. But, hey, I can't tell you what to do with your money. I'd advise against it, some of the things that you do, but that's on you, man.
Yeah, I'm just saying, man, GTA 5, it's a good game.
It is. It is. I mean, shit, I wouldn't have, I don't know. You spend a lot of leisure time playing this shit. It's just one of the things where it lost its,
After the years, it pretty
lost
much.
its value after a while.
Yeah.
In the game, especially when it's not. I know they added the thing about businesses and stuff, and you can do some of those things solo. But there's still a lot of things that you need people for, and some of these DLCs might bring people back to play them. But if you don't play them in certain hotspot times, you actually might just be sitting in a lobby trying to get people to join, and people might not join. Like, to be honest, like death matches, you ain't joining those shits really all like that unless you're like a popular streamer or some shit. You get people streaming with you or something. They're not joining a regular death match no more. They're
Right.
not doing the look, I'm looking at the map right now. They're not doing the Arena War series. I tried that. I'm gonna say like last year. Ain't nobody doing that shit.
That thing was hot for like 2 weeks, and everybody just said, fuck it. No, literally, that was like the biggest flop out of everything they did so far.
Man, I don't think I played one game of that. It was in passing. Like, it was just like me, Guwap and Trippy was like just playing other missions, other races, or we was doing other missions. And I was like, you know what? Let's try to do this thing. And we got into one game, and then literally could not get back into another one. And it was chalked after that. But they got other icons here that I haven't seen. They got a Kale Parikio. Wow.
Perico.
There you go. They got, I think that's the rates. They got a Kale Perico series, and then they got like they have different things on here. Now I guess you could do a lot more on that DLC, from what I can see. But they're not they're like adversary mode type of thing. So, which again, I don't know how good those actually are. The most things that people will come back for is probably this Grand Theft Auto Online After Hours because it looks new. Because I don't remember there being a T there. This GL paper thing, Operate Paper Trail, because I think that's new. Or at least maybe it's new for me. I don't know.
That's what the IAA, I think it is, or the IIA. I don't know. It's that whole agency thing. I think I didn't really play GTA 4, but I think that's where he's originally from.
Let's see. Okay.
But I do know certain
missions don't go away after you do them, which I guess I did. Well, no, I guess that's not the same Lamar missions. So never mind. And then I think the newest thing is this San Andreas Mercenaries DLC with Charlie Reed, and that's a content mission. So there are some things that are going to bring some people back very briefly, but they're not going to keep them here.
Nah.
What is this though? Oh, that's the Cayo heist. It's funny how I can say it well now, but I couldn't say it before. It's so fucking stupid. But then they got the Los Santos Drug Wars. Is that new?
I think that was the previous one before the one with Charlie Reed. I think that just was the one that just came out.
And Agent 14 is the gun running thing. That's still there because I don't have it. So a lot of those icons are there because I haven't done those things. Okay, so yeah, I did the Madrasa Dispatch Services shit, but that's still there for some fucking reason. So like, they just give you a bunch of blips on the map and just go do them or go do nothing type shit, and then we'll just add stuff in, and then if you catch the blip that pops up in the top left, noticing what we have new here, depending what it is, will actually hold less or more value to it. And if you happen to not notice it, then like that house vehicle thing, I might have got a pop-up about that when I first got on the game, but I didn't notice it, so I wouldn't even really pay any attention to that. I would just probably randomly see a vehicle indication on the map and then maybe get curious about it if I give a fuck. You know what I mean? But they fucked up, man. They fucked up as far as like longevity is concerned, but this game is like 11 years old.
Yeah,
it ran its course. It's the longest shit of it. It ran its course. The fact that they're still trying to do DLCs is like on one end, like, hey guys, we're trying to keep ourselves relevant here, you know. It's almost like, let's see if we can maybe get a few more assets. I mean, a few more thousands of dollars out of the game, so we can squeeze out the people. You know, with new DLC, meaning new vehicles, new weapons, new clothing items. You know what I mean? Oh, you got the money for that? Shark cards. You know what I mean? Shark cards.
Mm-hmm.
And you would assume that's going into like the next game, right?
Yeah.
Put that thought process in the wrong person's head, and they'll probably spend a little bit too much thinking that they're actually helping the next game's, productivity, which they might be. But I mean, come on, though. You're not trying to kill yourself over a fucking game, man. You know, don't put yourself in fucking bankruptcy because you want GTA 6 to be a fucking to be another hit. At the end of the day, that's not on you as the consumer. That's on them. So, I don't know. Stop updating this game, man. Just those extra assets and everything else into GTA 6. So, dog, it costs resources to make this shit, dude.
I
always understand that. Stop wasting it on us.
Anything else?
No. That I can think of right now. Like I said, man, I'm a reactive commentator. I love what you want to fucking talk about.
I see. You like to close up the video?
I mean, that's on you, my guy. You know me, I don't do outros and intros. My shit just ends.
Wow.
My shit will end midway in me talking. You know what I mean? I was like, fuck it, I'm just end this shit right here.
Goodness gracious. Well, this has been a surprise episode of Live and Chat, according to James. Live and Chat. Oh, jeez. Live and Chat. But he said it's Live and Chat. Goodness gracious. Well, anyway, we'll see you guys another time. Thank you for watching the episode, and hopefully Rockstar will see this, which they won't. But you know, hey, anything is possible. We're just giving some insight on what we are hoping to see in GTA 6 and GTA Online. So, without further ado, we'll see you guys next time.